Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Raylen, who is a soybean farmer from Melbourne, is joining us. He also serves as president of the Kansas Soybean Association. And Raylen, it's been a busy time here in the past several weeks, and one of the things that was done was a legislative luncheon that took place.
And that's when we go to the State House and we buy lunch for all the legislators. And the purpose of that is so we can build some relationship with our representatives, whether it be a House of Representatives or the senators, and even their staff, too. It's always good to have them come to the luncheon so we can get to know them and they can get to know us. So if there's a bill that comes up that we're needing to talk to or they need some help with, we're there to help them with it.
Raylen, Kansas Soybeans was also one of the commodity groups that hosted the Wake Up to Kansas Agriculture Legislative Breakfast.
We do that every year. Kansas soybean farmers that took the lead on it this year, along with wheat, grain, sorghum, and the corn growers. It's a good time where we get to bring the representatives come in for breakfast, and we can talk about issues or we can talk about just what's going on in our communities, and it's just a real good time for us to get to know each other a little bit better, kind of like the legislative luncheon.
One of the things to talk about, and that would be the Association Commission Division of Labor.
There's a lot of farmers out in the state of Kansas that they see their checkoff dollars come out whenever they sell a load of beans, and they think, well, gee, I'm a member of the Kansas Soybean Association. But that's not really true. It's a very definitive line between the association and the commission. The commission, they cannot use any checkoff dollars to do any lobbying of any kind. And so that's why we make an effort to try to draw members in, buy a membership. It's a very small fee. Actually, there's several seed companies that participate with us. They'll give the farmers bags of seed. They can give this diesel fuel. The association, they do a lot of work on the policy side. Biodiesel is one thing where we work on the checkoff dollars. The association, they also work on farm bills. Another thing, 179 tax incentive, there was a big push towards that, and that was one of our success stories. But what farmers need to know is that the checkoff dollars cannot and are not used for any lobbying efforts. And so that's why it's so important. If you're a soybean farmer out there, spend $70 for a year and become a member of your association. And I encourage anybody, not just the soybean associations, all the commodity groups, because they do a lot of good work, and the dollars are needed to help keep up lobbying efforts and keep policy on the front burner for us.
That is Raylen from Melbourne, also serving as president of the Kansas Soybean Association. He's been our guest on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. After the break, Kyle talks with Matthew Costello with Rabo AgriFinance about the ongoing drought in Australia and how it affects exports.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.